And you're back on CEO FaceTime with me, Raj, Aria, and today we're going to talk a bit about the hospitality industry. And with us today is Thomas Fehlbier, General Manager of AVANI Sepang Goldcoast Resort. Thomas, thank you for being on our show today. I understand that you have quite an illustrious career in the hospitality industry. Can you just share with us a bit more about your adventures, so to speak?
Yes, pleasure. Good morning, Raj. I'm an international German, I call it by now, after being for nearly 25 years in the hospitality industry. And I have actually started my career back in the 80s as a qualified chef. I've been in many Michelin star restaurants, have cooked at the time for all the big politicians of the world, several times for Mr. Gorbachev and others, and really enjoyed being in that hospitality business where every day is different from the day before, and it's never getting boring. You have a lot of interesting guests around you, and once you got infected with the hotel virus, as I always call it, you will always be addicted to it. And yeah, then I've started about 15 years ago traveling international, getting my my German hospitality experience on an international level. Have been to some of the best hotels in the world. Now I'm working for one of the best groups in the world, and coming to Malaysia and setting up a great resort in Sepang.
Right, sounds very, very interesting. Now, from food and beverage, F&B industry to hospitality, hotel line specifically, is it a major difference, or is it something which you managed to do quite seamlessly?
A hotel is so diverse. A hotel has 100-something different job roles to make a hotel a resort of our size, especially with the 389 over water villas, is very diverse in its specialities. So I have over the last 20 years pretty much experienced everything of it, from the financial point of view, from the sales and marketing point of view. Long time in the kitchen. I've been in stewarding, I've cleaned the pots of the chefs, and have done in store jobs, and obviously F&B is a big part. And right. But in the end of the day, everything comes down to managing people. And in today's world, I'm the only one in the hotel that doesn't really have a job to do. I only need to make the others working and need to make sure it's running smooth and have a bit time for our guests and That's to look after them.
That's right. Now, you have been in this industry for many, many years, since the 80s, so to speak. What has been the vast difference which you have seen back then and how it is today? Perhaps from your experience in Europe, and of course from your observations since you came to Asia.
In the hospitality industry, it's what is it all about? It's about honest food, it's about a good bed to sleep. Yeah. You have obviously differentiation between a resort style hotel or a city business hotel. There are the biggest differences, I would say. I've been to both of it. I enjoy both of it, but it is a complete different business in the way a hotel is run. If you are in a business environment where everyone leaves the hotel pretty much 8 o'clock in the morning, comes back 5 o'clock, in a resort, the whole life goes on all day. You have to entertain, you have to have your kids club running, and every day a new program. And what has been different in the last 20 years? The beds are still beds.
That's right.
And it's a lot in the technical part of it, obviously. When I started, no one spoke about free Wi-Fi in every room. That wasn't even available at the time. And the biggest dramatic changes that happened actually is everything that follows what the airlines have started some 10 years, 15 years ago, in terms of yield management, in terms of how systems are used, how pricing is done, with very flexible things where all the internet rates are zooming together, and every minute the price might be different. Right. That was obviously 20 years back completely different, where you had your reservation booked and you had your fixed rates, and
that's it.
That's it. And today it is very variable, and every room booked price is the next one different. Yeah.
Right, right. So it's a very intricate system today where you have all these various variables, different variables working, and that's where you come in, where you have to manage it to get and optimize the whole situation, right?
Yeah, this is, again, in every hotel different. We manage demand, we react on demand. We have days in the week when a big conference group might have just checked out, and then we have to fill the gap the next day. Right. So that we know a bit in advance, so we can look into other groups to come in to fill just the gap before the weekend, because weekends we are always pretty full. and thanks God. So there are different markets as well. In the week we are looking a lot after overseas tourists, after international groups, while on the weekend we are very much enjoying having Malaysian families with us, Singaporean families that complement then the overseas guests that stay much longer than a local family would do.
Right. Thomas, looks like you always have to be on your toes and on the brink of anticipating changes as well, right?
Yeah, always prepare for the unexpected.
That's right.
That's a hotel business that I had to learn, especially in this resort. It is a bit remote located,
That's right.
just in front of the doorstep of Sepang, but our resort is built entirely over water, over the Straits of Malacca, reaches 1.5 kilometers into the sea, with 389 villas being over water. This is a challenge, not only a beauty, but also a challenge in terms of all logistics, how to get the guest to its villa, how to get from the villa. We have a lot of weather challenges coming up to us, being on the open sea, from a storm, from a thunderstorm, from lightning. Everything needs to be thought through in advance. Expect the unexpected, where every fire alarm at nighttime with heavy rains and storm need to be often trained, and that everyone knows what to do at the right time to make our guest experience a memorable one in a positive way.
Right. Now, before we touch specifically on the resort which you have just mentioned, can you just share with us a bit more about AVANI Group as a whole?
AVANI Group is actually in Malaysia with our resort represented for the first time. We had just rebranded from a formerly known Golden Palm Tree Hotel that was run with a different management company to now AVANI. AVANI is actually managing this hotel on behalf of the owning company, using the strengths of our brand. Our brand is initiated in Bangkok, Thailand. We have a very inspirational funder, Mr. Bill Heineke, who has funded this company in the 70s. We started with zero capital and got then his first own few hotels after running a housekeeping company and get really young into the business. By now we are running 103 hotels with 7 various brands. The biggest and most known in Southeast Asia is our Anantara brand, which is a top-end luxury hotel brand all over Asia Pacific. We run 5 hotels in the Maldives. We have the majority of our hotels in Thailand, in Cambodia, Vietnam, and there are many more to come. We are expanding, doubling within the next 3 years. So where's AVANI? AVANI sits actually in between the other brands that we have, which is Per Acum, for example, a ultra luxury brand from the Maldives. We are owning the brand Oaks Hotel in Australia, which is a serviced apartment brand. And AVANI just positions itself in between the luxury hotel brands, where luxury and unique experience and small-scale hotels are making the brand of Anantara. And AVANI is actually now created as a brand that operates under a 5-star rating, but we do not use the word luxury. We are using the word value for money. We are very much looking into families. We are inspirational. We serve honest and healthy food. We are colorful and young, and we really look to be the best choice for any family that wants to get on a getaway, that wants to get on a 1-week vacation in our exciting resort where there's so much to do.
Right. I believe at the end of the day they call it the customer's experience, right?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, that they leave the resort feeling fantastic, feeling good, and of course looking forward to the next visit the next time round.
Yeah, and that's actually the biggest challenge. It is not just giving the guest a key card in today's world. We have 2 to 3 times a week a guest cocktail with every guest that stays 2 nights or longer with us. And my entire team, the guest experience team, the butler team, the excursion team, the spa managers, they are all present there and mingling with the guest to learn about how for you a good holiday would look like. For an Asian traveler that comes out of China, it is completely different to someone that comes from Australia or from the UK. They wouldn't want to be alone by the pool, want to have a good food, a good cocktail, leave me alone for a week, read a book, relax, look at the stunning views of the sea, while an Asian traveler would never stay longer than 2 nights and has to see eventually 3 hotels in 5 days. And they want to get the most out of it, while others just want to be let alone. And obviously this you need to find out.
Right.
How would success look like for everyone that is individual, and that's gets us a lot on the streets, on the lobby, talk to guests and find out how to make their experience better, that they tell others and come back.
Sounds like this is something very unique that you're doing right now in terms of customer engagement, which is so important to get a feel of what they are looking at, what are their needs, what their wants, what could be done better, right?
Absolute. We are not all day asking to just clap and hug us, but tell us how can we get from good to great.
Right.
And that must be always our ambition. We're never getting better if we're not aiming every day for excellence and for the extra mile, for making the wow factor and surprising our guests with something that they would not have expected. And good to great is the day-to-day routine in every meeting we do, and we try to be creative and think out of the box and work as a big, young, vibrant team, and that's what makes it so enjoyable. That's right.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, taking a step back, you mentioned about the group as a whole, which has been around for many, many years, targeting different segments, customer segments. How would AVANI differentiate itself from other major hospitality groups out there? For example, your Hiltons, your Starwood groups, and so forth.
AVANI is much more into resort. Resort is our expertise. Resort is how we select the properties that we take over as management contract, but we also own hotels. And for us, the entire brand is created in a much more young and creative,
very vibrant,
colorful
environment.
Or even the door hangers and other things are just with a funny wording on it, and it is just for young families like you and me that like to travel, that like to be in a good environment where the detail matters, but you don't feel overspoiled, overlooked. You don't have everyone running after you the whole day and be in an ultra luxury environment. We want to be just the perfect venue.
Right. And now we will focus on Malaysia specifically with your first property, which is the AVANI Sepang Goldcoast Resort. Now, I believe before you took over the management, the AVANI actually took quite a bit of time to make sure that you get the right property, because that's very important on the onset, right?
Yeah, I was actually joining the minor group and AVANI, especially last year in February, when this resort was just signed with a management agreement, and we were supposed to rebrand the resort to AVANI just before summer last year, but it took us a good 9 months longer to get the resort in a shape and get the service into consistency and get the associates recruited that we need to perform the brand promise and columns or brand columns that AVANI stands for. And so it took us a bit longer. We kept the hotel open. We operated under the old name and had a major renovation done with a good 7 million ringgit first phase investment, with another phase to start now, and just by the beginning of May, I hope. And now we are ready to serve what AVANI Promise stands for.
Right. Now, Malaysia is a tropical heaven. Yeah. And we have many, many resorts as well throughout Malaysia. So in terms of AVANI Sepang Goldcoast Resort, what are the unique aspects which people can look forward to in terms of an experience which they probably will not get at another resort, aside from what you have mentioned earlier? Anything else of?
There are plenty of great resorts in Malaysia. We are getting very, very positive feedback about obviously the unique shape of our hotel. Our hotel is, as I said before, built over water on stilts in the Straits of Malacca, reaching more than a kilometer out into the sea, and it is built in the shape of a palm tree. So this is actually the shape. So you have your main trunk, and then you have all the villas reaching out in the form of a palm. So you are actually having spacious rooms. You have your haven in the evenings when you see the stunning sundowners over the Straits of Malacca, and with a nice cocktail in hand, sitting on your own terrace, having the butler bringing eventually a barbecue grill that you can barbecue yourself, the sea bass that you just bought on the Fisher Market next door, and there's so much unique about this resort that you don't have in other hotels.
Right.
Only the size of the resort, where we have 500 plus bicycles that every guest can pick up in any corner of the resort to just cycle along. We have lushy gardens on the beach. We have 2 sides of private beach and an extreme park that that belongs to the resort, where you can go go-karting, where you can do archery and other exciting ATV cross trips, and there's more than enough to do for a whole week. We have an amazing spa where you can get pampered and massaged every day with a hairdresser and a beautician. So it's the perfect location. Other hotels also have great service, great beds, great food. I think we are unique the way we are, and in the end of the day, every hotel's hardware is not even 50% of what makes it a good hotel or a great hotel. It's the people, it's the software, as we call it.
That's right.
It's the smile, it's the aim for hospitality, the aim for receiving compliments, and that's what makes the hotel different.
That's right. As you can see right now, yes, definitely in the form of a palm tree, for example. And of course, there you can see the uniqueness of it, water chalets over the water, getting in touch with nature. Can't get any closer than this.
This is absolutely amazing, yeah. And the great thing is that this hotel is actually only the very first project of what the Sepang Goldcoast as a whole will be one day. This entire project was initiated by the state government of Selangor to develop the whole area, and our hotel is only the very first project of a 20-kilometer development that will make this coastline a unique Malaysian Gold Coast.
That's right. It looks like exciting times ahead for this resort. Now, speaking of which, you have also mentioned that for those who are more adventure inclined, there's so many activities they could immerse themselves in. For those who just some R&R, some peace and quiet. So there's something for everyone. Now, moving forward, now that you have taken it on full on at this point in time, how have you gone about in terms of marketing, branding, and perhaps getting your name out there in the market? What kind of strategies are you adopting?
Our sales and marketing office is actually located in Kuala Lumpur. We have a team of specialists that is looking after the corporate market, mainly where we have 2 big ballrooms for conferencing. We have a lot of team building activities. We're all big corporations in Malaysia. Our regular guests to do their team buildings and their outings and their team events on celebration award nights and obviously weddings. And there's a PR team, there's a marketing communication team, and we have held back a bit the marketing about the resort until we were fully rebranded. That's probably why we are invited here as well today, and thank you for that opportunity to just get the name of AVANI associated with a resort that is now ready to serve the high expectation that Malaysian guests are bringing that come for a weekend out, and obviously that corporations want to do when spending a good amount of money of taking a whole company into a weekend break or into a conference for 3 days.
Yep, sounds like you have something to cater for whichever segment, whether it's for the honeymooners, for those having weddings, for those having conferences, team buildings. Basically, you name it, you have it all at the moment.
We have it all. It's a one-stop shop, and you just don't have to go anywhere else. While actually, I must say, we have, especially for the individual travelers, amazing, unique experiences as well, where you can go with our own private speedboat into the Mangroves River. The resort is secluded by 2 naturally deserved mangroves rivers, protected, and there are great tours, especially for those from overseas that are just excited about all the monkeys around, about the stunning birds and the nature itself. So there we do daily trips. We have obviously excursions to the local fish markets and seafood places where then, as I said before, you can barbecue on your own terrace. Or you do have a romantic dinner on the beach. We have a swimming platform where you just have a good cocktail and a good food with your own butler in the evening hours with a nice sunset. It's such a romantic location as well, where obviously over times when there's Valentine's Day or honeymooners are just coming out and enjoy.
That's right.
A good break.
Fantastic. Now, I also understand the AVANI Group have very big plans in store on an Asian level. What are the plans that we hope to see in the near future, or their aspirations perhaps?
we as AVANI and Anantara as a brand as
That's
well
right.
are actively looking in expanding in Malaysia. There's a strong approach towards getting one or two of our brands into Kuala Lumpur, which would make perfect sense for us as a cluster, where we can combine weekend business, weekday business, where KL is usually not that busy on weekends, but a great shopping experience. And we always have opportunities during weekdays, so we are actively looking, for example, for Kuala Lumpur, but there are other destinations towards Singapore, and also in our very own resort, when the next projects are about to start, the extension of the Sepang Goldcoast, there will be another hotel that belongs to our brands, but it's not signed yet.
So work in progress, all in the pipeline, and I understand on the Asia level as well, you're looking to have 100 more locations,
yeah,
Asia Pacific wide.
Is actually now even going out of Asia Pacific. We had been initially very much limited to Southeast Asia. Then it was a big move with now having 7 of our hotels with various brands in the Maldives. Australia with the Oaks hotels is a very much growing market for us, and now we're actually tapping into Africa. We have with Elevana a very unique brand that caters for tree houses in unique locations in Africa. We are opening 2 resorts on private island in Mozambique. Wow. And there's much more in other countries that is on the way. So the target is actually to double our portfolio within the next 3 years. And there's a lot of opportunity to grow with us. That's what I'm telling my associates every day, to get them into career aspirations and to grow with the company and as a person.
That's right. It looks like it's indeed exciting times ahead for the company and group as a whole. Now, Thomas, thank you very much for your time today, for sharing with us. For sharing with us the new look AVANI Sepang Gold Coast Resort, which is just a stone's throw for those of us living in the Klang Valley. So if you would like to experience that resort feeling, well, something to consider in the very, very near future. With that, we're going to take another commercial break and be back with more updates, business developments here on Capital Today.